Hey there, everybody. Are you a progressively inclined individual who's interested in firearms and, more importantly, effective self-defense? Well, boy, howdy do I have the channel just for you. This is Fledgling Tactical. My name is Josh, and here to share my journey to proficiency with you guys. And here to help me illustrate my points today, this is going to be one of my EDC options. This is a Glock 43X, and in a cow print with the pink trigger for the udders. One of my favorite guns that I own currently. Alright, so today's video is going to be trying to answer the question, should you own firearms? We're going to start from square one. Do you think that you should own one of these? And it is a very personal question, and one that I want to make very abundantly clear that I cannot actually answer for you. The decision to own firearms is your own decision alone, and I can't tell you whether it's really good for your lifestyle or not. There are a lot of things to consider, but in this video I will actually share some of the reasons why I own guns, or some of the reasons why people own guns in general, and maybe you can get a semblance of whether or not it is right for you. So I've been thinking on it quite a bit recently and racking my brain just as much as I rack this slide, but I've come up with a general list of 5 different reasons as to why people own firearms. This isn't a comprehensive list. There are plenty of other reasons to own firearms, but these are the general 5 that I hear most often from my peers and coworkers and friends and stuff like that. I will say, though, I am very curious as to why you guys own firearms, so if you are open to sharing why you own firearms in the comments down below, I'd really appreciate your guys' input. But on to the reasons. Reason number 1 is one that I can't really talk too much about just because it doesn't apply to me, and that is that firearms are work related. If you are, say, working in law enforcement, security, maybe military service, yes, that is one very, very big and important reason as to why certain people own firearms. It is related to how they make their living. And for me, that is not my reality, but is one that I can understand is absolutely necessary. The next reason is one that I think is probably the most common in terms of people that I've asked and know as to why they own firearms, is going to be home defense. Home defense, wildly important. Your home, your, dwelling, whether that be an apartment, an RV, a house, whatever it is you live in, you want to feel protected, you want to be well equipped in case, knock on wood, something bad happens, danger finds you, and all of a sudden you need a tool to protect your life. Home defense is remarkably important. Definitely one of the reasons why I own firearms, and one that is just, in my eyes, absolutely justified. The next reason is going to be for self-defense. Now, home defense and self-defense can be sometimes interchangeable, but when I talk about self-defense, I'm talking about concealed carry, keeping it on your person and to be able to walk around, carry a weapon, and be able to handle yourself responsibly and safely, where a gun like this is going to be one that's perfect for self-defense. This can be very easily concealed if I have my concealed license, which I absolutely do. So definitely check your local laws and see if it is feasible for you to be able to conceal carry, or legal for you to conceal carry. I can't tell you that just through this video, but this is going to be a Glock 43X. This is perfect because it is small enough for me to conceal easily, but big enough for me to shoot adequately. I mean, there are guns that are much smaller than this. However, this is going to be my tried and true. This is the perfect size for my everyday carry. The next reason is going to be more so enjoyment based. When you are, or one of the major reasons as to why I own a firearm is for enjoyment and practice and skills development. This is going to be one that some people may or may not agree with, but whenever I go out onto a range and go out with my coworkers and friends, and there's camaraderie, it's a bonding experience, it is really enjoyable, while all at the same time making sure that we keep each other to this standard of handling our firearms safely. I learn a lot of things. I develop muscle memory from a lot of the drills that we do, and it just is enjoyable. And that is definitely a valid reason as to why you should own firearms if it is legal for you. And lastly is going to be hunting. Hunting for survival or hunting for sports. This one is separate because it is one that I don't really ascribe to because I don't hunt. I would love to hunt one day and see what that experience is like. To hunt and process an animal for my utilization would be a very interesting experience. Maybe one day I will do that, but as of right now, it is not a primary reason for me, but I can see that in many other places that it can be a very viable reason to own a firearm. So just as a quick recap as to why I personally own firearms: home defense, self-defense, and sport and enjoyment. Those are my three major reasons as to why I own firearms. And for each and every different reason, there are different firearms for different purposes. It's just like tools, instruments. Different tools are suited for different jobs. Same exact thing with firearms and guns. Different guns have different purposes and uses. An oftentimes overlooked aspect to gun ownership is going to be being considerate about the people that live with you, your partner, your friends, and where you carry your firearm, where you keep your firearm, and how secured it is. It is really important to have these conversations with the people that are around you. I am around a lot of people who don't like guns very much, and I completely understand where they're coming from. And if they decide not to engage with anything that, I have to do with firearms, I completely understand and respect their choice to do so. But if, say, you are living in an apartment, a home, or RV, whatever it may be, I think it's worth your time to bring up the conversation of, hello, I am planning to purchase a firearm for home defense or personal defense or whatever it might be. How do you feel about it? And then you can open up the conversation to, in an emergency situation, would you be interested in also being aware of how to use my firearm should, like, say, something as horrible as a home invasion happen or something? This is really important for you to kind of open up that conversation to people. It's considerate of their emotions towards your hobbies, which is always good to do. And two, it will ensure that you are capable of communicating a pretty difficult conversation with your partner or roommate or whatever it is. And in terms of people who have kids, super important to make sure that you're considerate and know and feel secure in that you are keeping your firearms locked up in a place that your child cannot access them. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with parents teaching their kids how to use firearms, but I definitely think that it is worth your time to invest in securing those firearms so those children absolutely cannot access them if they wanted to without your direct supervision. I know some people will be like, my kid knows better than that. I don't care. I firmly believe that children should not have access to firearms because their decision-making processes have not been fully developed. Sometimes they don't understand the very, very heavy responsibility of owning something that can gravely hurt or damage another person. So make sure that you have the means to lock up your guns in a way that is adequate and be considerate of the people that are immediately around you. With all that being said, I very much think that if you are considering owning a firearm for whatever reason, it doesn't have to be any of the reasons that I listed here, but if you are considering it and you can do so responsibly, safely, and legally, of course, check your local laws to make sure that you are able to own firearms, I think that it can benefit you just as much as that has benefited me. And I am very curious, for those of you who already own firearms, why do you own firearms? Put it in the comments down below. I want this to be an open place for people to talk about firearms civilly and very, very much encourage people to own firearms if they so choose. And if you choose not to, that's totally okay too. I'm not forcing you to. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I appreciate your guys' time, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.